All right, that's good. This should be good. There we go. All right. Seems to be up and moving. Get this open. What's this about? Oh, we got a notification tonight. What a rare treat. NFL, the YouTube gods must be liking the channel right now because I got a rare notification pushed out to myself. All right, we got that up now. Close that. What's up, Mike? What's up, Brown Tiger? Or what's up? I'll just go with Tiger. What's up, Tiger? If you guys haven't done so, left a like. It'll help the stream out quite a bit. Everyone having a good evening, hopefully. Ugh. Well, I hope anyway, you know. It's pretty shitty weather overall, right? Like with all the hurricanes and stuff brewing in the south. If you live in Florida, or I would have guessed that, like what, like Louisiana, Houston, are you guys all like in line to get fucked up really bad, just like from Ian, just like Florida is, or is it supposed to go up the east and not more so like across the south part? What's up, Jacob? Man, some of them people in Florida are in for quite the shitty evening, shitty couple days even. I think I don't know if Myles Garrett's going to play on Sunday. That would be one of the craziest like turnarounds ever. You're fine, Tiger. What, you're a Browns fan now? You just kind of follow Watson to his new team? You're going to get some cold weather. Yeah, we're going to get some rainy, shitty weather probably like we're getting right now. This sucks. Yeah, we have like cold. It's 48 degrees where I'm at right now. Can you believe that? It's really cold. But I remember you a little bit. What was your old name? But yeah, it sounds like Myles Garrett's going to be all right. He was released from the hospital. He had some lacerations, which are just cuts, some light bruising. And other than that, his status is doubtful for Sunday, I would imagine. Maybe questionable. Just depends on like how he feels because he's rather sore. I would imagine he misses Sunday, right? Because it's like, well, I mean, I guess it really just depends on how he feels Sunday morning. Steelers better beat the Jets. Yeah, you guys will beat the Jets. Don't worry. What's up, Jacob? Look at the Chiefs fan actually showing up in here. Look at some of these scores. You guys were probably the first like crazy upset of the week in terms of like the way the scores are presented. You were Tiger Texans super fan? Yeah, okay, I remember now. Yeah, it sucks what happened with Watson, but I mean, the relationship was dead there. They had to move on. Better beat the Buccaneers. Yeah, I would. I mean, unless they get, I think Evans will be back for the Buccaneers this week, and I think Godwin as well. But you know, this isn't really. I don't know yet with Godwin. He like almost played this last week. It was like a 50-50 thing, and I think this next week he should be good to go. So I would imagine you're going to get a way different looking Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. Because even if Godwin can only like play at like a 75-80% clip, I would imagine Mike Evans would be helped out tremendously just by Godwin returning back. Who are you talking about? Godwin? Godwin should be back, yeah. And that'll really be a problem for some people. Oh yeah, and Evans needed a day off or a game off anyway, because he's carrying it. Yeah, the Raiders might be the most surprising team, I would say, out of all the teams in the NFL. I've been thinking about what's been like the biggest shock start to the season. I'm like, well, I guess you could look at the Bears and the Giants both being 2-1, but you could kind of fuck around and win a couple games early in the season. I guess you could say the Jaguars have been a very pleasant surprise, but much like the Bears and much like the Giants, the 2-1 record, it's kind of like, yeah, that's impressive, but can you keep it up to any real extent or to any real degree? Am I lagging bad or are you lagging bad? Was it all laggy? Hold on, let me check something. No, I don't think it would be me. I don't know if it's my end. I haven't dropped a single frame, just so... Are you watching the Vikings game in London? I might watch it some on Sunday morning, probably. They're just going to move it, Jacob. I would assume they're going to move it somewhere into the Midwest. Probably like, I've been hearing they might use Tennessee's field because the Titans are away. It's fine on PC and mobile. Yeah, I'm on mobile, and I'm perfectly up to date. Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, the Raiders to me are the biggest surprise with the 0-3 record. They've had a couple close games now where they could be 2-1, but it seems like whether it be bad coaching, whether it be just something like, I'm not really certain as to what it is, but it is something that is causing this Raiders team to just kind of just not click. It's not gelling. I wonder if I've often thought this about certain coaches, right? Like they just kind of don't adapt well. Like they get way too into like their way in the league. And like once the league starts to change and adapt and kind of like go in a different direction, they get left behind. I think one of the more recent victims of this was Mike Zimmer. Normally he's a great head coach. He's never really had a moment of being like a bad head coach until the game kind of flipped and became something that he wasn't really used to and he didn't really adapt to it. And I'm wondering if we're starting to see something like that with Josh McDaniels. While his offense was great, right? It's just like, well, dude, you've been running the same offense for like over a decade now. You haven't changed much of it. You're still running like he ran a 3rd and 18, and guess what? If you're a Patriots fan, you already know what play he ran on 3rd and 18. This dude's out here calling fucking screen passes on 3rd and 18 still. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you haven't changed anything. And that's a little troubling. If I were a Raiders fan, I'd be a little troubled by something like that. I'd be like, well, why isn't he changing? Why is there no, like, adapting to the new game? Why are they so stuck on this, like, old way of playing? Like, why doesn't, like, where's the RPOs in the McDaniel offense? Where's like West Coast implementation in the offense? It's not there. He's running like an old school, like basically like super power I formation with the fullback and it's like, well, I could see why the Patriots kind of got stale on offense. It's like, oh, dude, yeah, no, he needed to go. Now that I'm seeing this in like other situations, it's like, what's up, Alex? It's kind of weird to see a team still utilizing a fullback. And they're a team that should be passing the ball. It's like, what are you guys doing trying to power run with your receiving core? There's kind of like this disconnect for what's like going on and what's yeah, no problem, Alex. But what's up, Charles? How you doing, buddy? They should move the Bucs and Chiefs game to Birmingham. Maybe. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. But also, I think the Titans facility will work. They're trying to go somewhere with grass is basically the major concern for the Bucs right now. They don't want to go play at a yeah, it's literally like it just doesn't match like what the Raiders have. Like they have Waller and Adams. It's like, why are you guys power I formation? What is this? You have literally one of the best receivers in football, if not the best. Why are you not like running the power 8, Josh? Why have you not switched your offense? Yeah, one less wide receiver, one less tight end. It's like, you know what I mean? No, I'll always pull more for the Patriots, and they'll always take first priority. It's just going to be rough watching. We're going in there just hoping to see some good football the next couple weeks. Yeah, that's the most unfortunate part, ladies and gentlemen. Mac Jones, future GOAT of this league, current best quarterback in the league, but no, people are kind of blind to the truth. Suffered one of the worst injuries I think I've ever seen in my football watching career. It's quite sad. He suffered a high ankle sprain, and he'll probably miss like a few weeks. Pretty brutal. But it's kind of like up in the air if he's going to get surgery or not. He's going to try to rehab it and see if it'll get better, but I'm like, oh, fucking great. He's out for like 10 weeks now. I already see how this is going to go. In 2 weeks, he's going to get the surgery. Then he's going to miss 3 weeks and then 4 weeks. So, yeah, we're probably without Mac for a majority of the season. I would say it's safe to wager that. So, Patriots are an easy win this year, just like when we had Matt Kessel, but we only lost 5 games that year somehow. Crazy that we missed the playoffs. We didn't deserve to make the playoffs. If you go look at the raw numbers, it's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But, yeah, it is. It's very early with McDaniels. But, yeah, his ego seems to have stayed just as big as it was when he was with the Broncos. If not, it's a bit larger now. So it's very concerning with McDaniels. But we'll see. I mean, they could get better. One of the things with McDaniels is he does have a very difficult offense to get figured out. But once it starts going, it's actually very effective. So I imagine once the Raiders team gets used to his offense, they probably will be able to be very effective. We'll see, though. Yep. Yeah, but again, you got to consider that the Raiders interim coach didn't put in McDaniels' notoriously fucking hard offense. So they probably won't fire him this year. Unless he goes 0-10, then they'll fire him probably. It would have to be some kind of dramatically bad start to the season for the Raiders to fire him, not 0-5. Because again, you got to understand, you can't, you know what I mean? It's one of them things where it's if it was any other coach, I'd be a little bit more critical. But I also kind of want to put that game a little bit into context. Now, I want to see something here. I've always had oh boy, yeah. See, look at this. Isn't actually that bad. I'm looking at Russ's numbers, right? He looks bad, real bad. 20 for 33, 184 yards. That just kind of seems like he's doing his normal thing. They're just not the offense just isn't clicking. I don't know. I don't know what to say about the Broncos. They're winning games because their defense is absolutely fucking cracked right now. I mean, have you seen some of the way they've been? It's 16-9, 11-10. So that it's interesting to see that. But with Russell, I don't think he's actually the culprit behind the problems with I think the offense can move, and they seem to be able to get downfield. That's 100 rushing yards right there almost. So it's they're not. It's not just it just seems like they just can't score. There's just something, their offense hitches up, because that's only 13 incomplete passes, but they only got 190 yards out of it. It's what is happening? It seems like Hackett is a bad head coach, was a bad decision to hire. I'm not too certain about that one, but again, I tend to want to give them a break because they are 2-1 and winning games despite absolutely no offensive contribution. So. Broncos are a fun one to watch. Absolute dumpster fire. But, I mean, they're winning. Is Saquon back to his rookie self? How did he do? Damn, Cooper Rush had a good day. 14 for 81 and a touchdown. That's pretty solid. Looks like old Saquon's kind of starting to feel himself again. You guys might have a valuable trade chip coming up soon here. If you think about it. I mean, I don't know. If you guys kind of start to suck in a few games, there are plenty of teams that would take Saquon Barkley if he's running well. Plenty of them. Normally, I wouldn't say that about a running back, but when you got a running back who's as good as Saquon Barkley is, teams will actually go get him. If you got a good receiving running back that's like really good at running, yeah, you'd get a lot for him. You'd get a decent return for him anyway, because the injuries are a problem. You'd get a lot more than most teams would get for their running back, because his contract isn't absolutely insane. And like, you know what I mean? Like, because you do got to also consider you have to trade a running back contract that's a little high. Because you guys, did he get a second deal? Or is he still on his first contract with you guys? I know the Panthers paid McCaffrey, and he's never been good again. Which is still one of my top 3 all-time fleeces in the NFL is Christian McCaffrey robs the Panthers. Oh, shit. Okay. So, yeah, you guys will probably trade him. It would be smart to trade him anyway, in my opinion. Especially since there's probably like a 0% chance he's re-signing with you guys. No offense, but unless you like, what's the word? Franchise tag him, and I can't imagine a team actually franchise tags a running back. But you guys might. You have a really good running back, so it's a little different. But boy, that'd be some poverty ass shit to franchise tag a running back. Let me tell you. Be like, all right, well, we'll just draft a new one, I guess. Yeah, which is weird because he's not like a bad play caller. It's just like, dude, just like get rid of like 90, like get rid of half the shit you have to worry about. And I think you'd actually be a good head coach. You have way too much on your plate. Trim out the responsibilities. Go with game time decisions and let someone else call plays for a little while. Until you have the game time stuff down to like a very comfortable science of like, all right, play timeout, challenge, you know, this, that, the other. Because otherwise, it's like shit like that's going to kill the Broncos all year. I don't think you guys would get a first rounder for Galladay or for Barkley, but maybe. Yeah, I don't know what the Giants are about to do with Galladay. It's like your biggest hope is that you can find some team that is more than willing to take on half of his contract with Galladay. And then you'd have to be like, all right, we'll eat half his contract. That's about all I could have had. That's like best. I have to go blow my nose. Hold on. All right, much better. Had to clear my throat really bad. That was fucking awful. Yeah, and his cap hit next year is the most hilarious cap hit, and that's why you guys can't trade him. Who in the fuck gives a receiver a cap hit that'll be worth $31 million? He's so far ahead of the other receivers, it's not even funny right now. Dave Gettleman completely overvalued the wide receiver market by like fucking $10 million at this point. Or is Devontae getting 30 this year? You guys could be like a crazy good record. Like you guys could be like 7, 8 wins, 6 wins. It would like right now you're like trending towards 6, 7, you know, maybe even 8 wins. That would be like that's literally like the perfect case scenario. And that would be frightening to put Deshaun Watson on that team. Oh man. If you guys win again this coming week, which I think you're going to, you guys are about to be 3-1. And that's a really good disposition. Because I said if you can get 4 or 5 wins, that'd be perfect with Brissett. It's like, oh, they're almost there. They've almost accomplished everything they needed to with Jacoby. I don't know. I'd be happy as shit if I was a Browns fan. I'd be like, hey, this is fucking perfect. We're gonna be in every single game if we can't win them. Should be 3-0, but then I don't know what happened. There's some magic, some voodoo. By the way, anyone who picked the Bengals to lose this game to the Jets, I'm taking your football card. If you genuinely picked the Jets to beat the Bengals, I have one question for you. Why did you pick that? After I've been ringing the bell that the Bengals aren't as bad as they've been playing, and the majority of the reason that the Bengals have been playing kind of poorly and just not looking sharp and crisp is like, well, they didn't have a preseason like with Joey Burrow. They had it with the backups and shit. So the timing's off. The chemistry isn't quite right. You know, you got to get things going. It took a couple weeks. And then if you watch the end of that Dallas Bengals game, you've seen a very different Bengals team from when the ball was kicked off just like 2 hours prior. You're like, oh shit, okay, this is the Bengals. They're here. And they genuinely looked like a much better football team. They just kind of like couldn't hold off Cooper Rush, who's on like a crazy fucking win streak now. Isn't he like 3 or 4-0 he's got some crazy record as a starting quarterback? It's very funny. The entirety of whatever Cooper Rush is. Dude won again. Beat the undefeated Giants in New York. That's not an easy task. I've never seen a team beat an undefeated Giants team, mainly because I've never seen an undefeated Giants team before. So technically, I've never seen a team beat an undefeated Giants team in New York until Cooper Rush just did it. May not be a lot of games, but I mean, we all just seen history. As a Browns fan and the Bengals being our division rival, I'll pick, unfortunately, you picked the Jets last week? Oh, man. Why'd you pick the Jets last? Oh, division rival, just hoping they'd lose. Fair enough. That's a little different. But if you genuinely didn't think the Bengals were going to win this game, it's like, man, I don't know. Bengals are a way better team than the Jets. Jets got a backup quarterback and a whole bunch of backups in and weird-looking head coach who's a wannabe Dan Campbell. It's Go Jets. How come there weren't any Jets fans screaming about receipts on social media last weekend or this last couple days? Remember when they were talking all that about receipts because they had a fluke win versus the Browns? It's like, why can't Jets fans accept that they had a fucking once-in-a-generation win versus a team? No, they're back to normal. You don't pump up the victory or the opponent. You pump up the way that they played. They looked more like the Bengals that we seen at the end of last year. Like, they looked sharp. The passes were on point. They looked like they were actually in sync and rhythm. They were able to get going and shit. I know it's just the Jets. Trust me, I'm not fucking overrating the Jets again. But you do have to look at the way the Bengals played the game and how they looked in the game. Like, it's one of them things where you're like, all right, this team is clearly kind of getting back to where they were. And when you understand the context of why they might have been playing poorly at the start of the year, you understand like, oh, okay, the rust is shooken off. Here come the Bengals. I don't know. It's hard to judge that right now because they don't have a quarterback. It's hard not to judge that right now because the Jets don't have a quarterback. It was really hard not to do. But yeah, I don't know. They don't, Joe Flacco isn't a real quarterback. Mike White's not a real quarterback, and we'll see about Zach Wilson. But I don't know how the Jets are able to obtain 3 quarterbacks, and all 3 of them are backups. Even their starter, even Wilson's the fucking backup. Like, man, how come you guys can get every position filled on this fucking team except the quarterback position? Has anyone else noticed this about the New York Jets? They can fill up every single position with A+ fucking quality stock players. Look at their receiving core. Look at their corners. Look at their linebackers, defensive linemen. Offensive line's kind of hot garbage right now. But receiving core is great. Tight end system. Like, everything about the Jets is actually pretty solid except the O-line. But they can't pick quarterbacks. This is very common. This is almost exactly like Rex Ryan when he built up a very good football team, and then they stuck fucking Mark Sanchez as the quarterback and just went with him a lot. I don't know. I feel weird about the Jets. They remind me a lot of Rex Ryan's Jets, where they look like they have a pretty solid defense, but the offense, the like lack of inability to like find a quarterback has been dooming the Jets since Namath hung them up. Miami hasn't really surprised me. They have a good defense, and they like picked their offense has been supercharged, man. When you go get a guy like Tyreek Hill to go alongside a guy with like Jalen Waddle, it's like, yeah, I would expect your offense to fucking score a lot of points. If not, it would be a major failure. Dude, the Jets have been looking for a quarterback about as long as some of our parents have been alive, if you think about that. My dad was a boy the last time the Jets... I don't even think my dad was, like, cognizantly able to understand what football was when the Jets last won a Super Bowl. Hey, what's up, Brown Tiger? I appreciate it, man. Very kind, man. Thank you very much. Hold on a second. I think... if I unmute that and do that, I think, but thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Very kind, very kind. Should be a pop-up. Yeah.
Just wanted to
I
say,
should probably make
what
that a
you're
little
doing.
bit bigger. Huh?
Do what you do.
Oh, nope. That's not what I wanted to move at all. What the hell did I just grab? That's all right. Cool. Did it make any noise? It should have made a little bit of noise, but I don't know if it did or not. Cool. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Very cool. It's nice to just see that the notification system's working again. That's pretty good. What else did we see? Oh. Funniest game of all time happened this weekend. So all off season, right? I was kind of like spewing. I was like fuming on this point, kind of like confused, right? All these people around me were talking about, oh, the Chargers. They if only they had talent around Justin Herbert. I'm like, they didn't really add much other than J.C. Jackson and Khalil Mack. That doesn't even really help Justin Herbert. Oh, they have all these great talents around him, and I'm like, yeah, but I mean, it's the same offense as last year. I mean, what do you mean they didn't help him? Yeah, but like, and then they give me some bullshit reason as to how the Chargers haven't done everything in the world to fucking make this kid a winner. They're off to a pretty bad start this year, right? They're 1-2. One understandable loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are a difficult team, even though everybody picked them Chargers to win the division over the Chiefs. And by the way, you're all part of this. A lot of people are part of this. I'm like one of the only people I know that said, I don't think the Chargers will even make the playoffs. And I remember this on a stream. It was, I think, early August, late July. I remember I said I had a very hot take in the Discord. I found what I said. I said, number one topic tonight is going to be the Chargers. I have a lot to say about them. And I spent a very long time yelling with the entire chat and yelling at everybody that what about the Chargers is any different than last year when they missed the playoffs. What, like one corner and one fucking defensive back, one guy who's really good at rushing the passer? That was like, everybody told me that they were suddenly the division winner. And I tried to explain to you a couple reasons as to why those Los Angeles Chargers just weren't the team to fucking put your money on, back your horses into. I tried to explain this way back when, and I look like a goddamn prophet right now. Number one, inept organization. The most important thing is they're an inept, unlucky organization. Do you see all these injuries? I hate to point this out, but like, do you see all the injuries? What did I say was going to be the downfall of this team? As it is, every fucking year that I've watched football since, except for the years that they go play in like deep playoff runs when they go like 13-3. Those are the years the Chargers don't get injured. Is the really good like 12-4 years you'll see randomly on the Chargers record. That comes from when they stayed healthy somehow. They defied all expectations because every fucking year the Chargers, I swear, have like the best fucking roster in football. And like every year, everybody's always shocked when they have a good season because they stayed healthy. It's like, am I the only one who sees the consistency with this Chargers team? They somehow get to hide all of their bad play. And it's just like, oh, thank you very much, man. Thank you for joining. Thank you very kindly, very kindly. Yeah, that's a fun little saying on the screen. This first rule about Dirt Club, take a shower. No. I don't actually believe in being dirty. Like physically dirty. You know. I shower like twice, maybe 3 times a week. You know, I'm clean as shit. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate the support. You're very, very kind. Thank you very much. I lost what I was talking about. But Herbert, yeah, and the Chargers. You see that? What's up, James? Keenan Allen's injured. You got Rashawn Slater out for the season. Herbert's got like broken ribs or cracked ribs or something. It's just that it's starting to be like this long, like laundry list of injuries. J.C. Jackson's not recovering well from that surgery he had. It's like, dude, this is a very unlucky football team at its core. They do something wrong and they just get hurt. And I seen it and I seen something. And I explained this before. Mike told me about this, that there was like this weird interview with Kendrick Bourne, and he was explaining why he was staying so much healthier with the Patriots than he was with the 49ers, despite the elevated use and playing in more games. He credits it to the way the Patriots prepare people for the week and for practice. You know, they monitor hydration levels. They make sure you take this certain X amount of this, that, or the other. They're very on top of this compared to most organizations or more teams that he's even been a part of. So I'm wondering if a team like the Chargers, where we've seen a player like Hunter Henry always getting hurt, always dealing with some kind of injury, suddenly on the Patriots, I don't think he's missed a game. What, like 19 games in? He isn't 20 games in, including the playoffs. He hasn't missed any time. That's like an amazing run for a guy who used to like be out like every 2-3 games. Like he literally he'd miss like fucking 5 games this season with the Chargers. And that to me shows that there's something that they're doing there that is different from a team like the Patriots, who only suffer like bad injuries. If you haven't noticed, like, oh, he tore his ACL and ruptured a fucking tendon. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, that's pretty bad. That was just a bad injury. But you don't see like weird, like weird injuries that you see with other teams. Like, oh, he tore a core muscle. You know what I mean? Like, or like a joint injury that just makes no sense. It's just like, there has to be a way that like some teams don't get hurt and other teams always do. And like teams like the Chargers are doing something fundamentally weird or different or just wrong that is causing this like uptick in injury. Because like, why are they so much more hurt? Unless they play on bad turf, which is like, but the Rams play on the same field and they don't suffer the same injuries. And I would imagine a guy like Sean McVay is very big on stuff like that. Like making sure the players are healthy, and because I would even argue that it's a hey, what's up, JJ? How's it going, man? I appreciate pressing the like. If everyone's pressed like, I appreciate that. Very, very kind. But what's up, James? JJ, how you guys doing? You guys having a good night? Baker looks like Baker. Yeah. Hey, I mean, Panthers won their first game, and that's all. That's all that really counts, right? Getting them dubs. Forgot to do something with the stream. Hold on. I'm not a big hockey guy. I guess I would say I like the Red Wings. If they're one of the best teams. Oh, we're at 13 likes. Holy moly. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. This stream's doing pretty good. Thank you. If the Red Wings are one of the best teams in the league, I'll probably watch a little hockey. But if they're not, then I don't give a fuck. I got to be able to shitlord in sports I don't like, because then I'm funny and very obnoxious to the people who like the game. Trust me. If you guys want some of the funniest reaction streams, you got to pray for the Pistons to turn into a good basketball stream. Actually, I know enough about basketball where it's actually very entertaining listening to it because it's very back. It's like constant, so I get really into the back and forth of that fucking game. I think some of my funniest early streams were probably the basketball streams. Those were pretty fucking top tier reaction streams. Well, because sound effects and fucking back and like just noises and shit, just screaming. Because I get really into the NBA playoffs, but I enjoy those as my own time. Plus, like with no LeBron, I don't really have anyone to actively root for, so. I like the Patriots, yeah, but that's mainly due to I credit it to a couple reasons, right? Like childhood exposure, because my dad was a Patriots fan until they went with the Tom Brady switch. He got really pissed off about them benching Bledsoe for Brady, so he quit watching and went and became a Lions fan or a Bengals fan. I can't remember which. What up, Amir? So I probably just grew up watching a lot of Patriots games and just kind of like subconsciously took the team in. Hey, congratulations. Hell yeah, there we go. Fucking congrats. That's probably a nice feeling. Got ourselves a fucking pennant today. And then I later on, 2 years later it would be then, watched my first ever football game and took it all in and decided whoever wins this Super Bowl game, I don't know what this is about. I'll be a fan of. And it just so happened the Patriots. I gotta go blow my nose again really quick. 1 sec. All right, I'm back. All right, sorry about that. My fucking nose is bothering the shit out of me right today. Ugh. Oh, you're a bigger hockey guy? I would say I like baseball a little bit more than football, but I can get way more into football. You're good. I don't really care. It's kind of just a chill out stream. What up, Daniel? But yeah, if the Pistons are one of the best teams in the league, I'll watch some basketball this year. It'll be pretty funny. The fast pacedness of it is something I really enjoy. I enjoy calling stuff like that. Because I can get really into it. I hit you with the wops and shit. But whop! I don't know if I can do that in this apartment though. I think it'd be fucking way too loud for everyone around. It'd be funny though. It'd be fucking degenerate. Take my shirt off and start fucking just so I don't get sweaty. Answer the door, just fucking sweaty, sweat pouring off. Ugh. Anyway, what else we got for this week? Man, my nose is bothering me. Just got to ignore it. I just got to ignore it. Did we talk about the Mac injury? Yeah, we did a little bit. Season opener? Yeah, that's what I thought you meant by game 1. That'll be interesting. Best team in the league taking on the Magic. Hopefully we don't beat you guys too badly. We'll end your season game 1. Beat you by 50, 60 points with Cade and Ivy. You having a good night? Yeah, it's 11 o'clock here as well. Oh shit, yeah, you might want to get some sleep, Tiger. Thanks for stopping in, man. You have a great night. And thank you again for the donation and joining the channel. I appreciate it, man. You have a good night and stay safe have a safe drive tomorrow. Oh God. I know a lot of games felt pretty good. Am I doing Thursday night? What's Thursday night? The Dolphins and the Bengals? Yeah, probably. That's a pretty solid game. I feel like I always feel like it's like, yeah, I'm going to do that one. I want to watch. I got to see carefully what the Dolphins are up to. I want to see what that looks like. I also want to see what the Bengals look like. I haven't gotten to see the Bengals play. That's a big thing. I don't think they're sneaky good. I just think they're a good team. Again, the only real question going into the season, I think, with the Dolphins was how the O-line and Tua were going to play. And so far, Tua's looked really good. And it's not like we didn't think Tua was like this inaccurate, couldn't complete pass. No, it's just like we just didn't know if he had an arm strength. And it seems like, all right, they seem to have found a workaround around that. Which is, they're winning, Till someone beats them anyway. You guys see some of these Bengals white jerseys? Look at this. Oh, let me show you something. Yeah, well, I don't know about coaching. I think the Bengals, again, have been dealing with a little bit of issue that's like bigger than just like coaching or playing. It's just rust issues. You guys got to admit, in terms of like good jerseys, these probably got to be the best, right? I mean, I don't know why these just aren't their normal new jersey. Like, yeah, we're just going to go with these now. Why? These are way better than the motherfucking ones we wear as it stands. What's up, Karam? Oh, what the fuck? I pressed to go back and it just brings up the wrong one. Oh, sweet. There are better colors. Okay, there are better looks at this. Oh, shit. That's trippy as fuck. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing is just such a great jersey. Mike McDaniel came from Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, so did McVay. Yeah, they're wearing these on Thursday. Dude, these look so good. Oh, dude, if they use this when it snows, they have literally the best jersey. Because I think it's snow white. I think that's actually the color. Or it's like, because I think that's technically what the color of the Siberian tiger. Because I think that's the obviously the fucking vibe they're going with. But goddamn, they win the best best alternate jerseys right now. Patriots are up there with the Reds. Those are pretty sweet because they also bust out the Patriot Pat helmet. With Brian Hoyer and stuff and whatnot, we get to bring the Reds back with old Brian Hoyer. Always just like we envisioned. Not with our new generational quarterback, Yeah, these are pretty sweet jerseys. I'm excited to see how these look in action. Uniforms won't make the Bengals O-line functional. That's a good point, my friend down there. Just read one of the Twitter comments right there, and one of the top comments is, yeah, I don't think that them jerseys are going to make that O-line any better, though. It's like, yeah, that's a good point. Good point. It's not really what they were talking about here. They're just trying to show off some new threads, but all right. Biggest surprise win of the weekend, would that be the Colts over the Chiefs? Or do they not count? Because it's like, yeah, but I mean, you guys kind of always beat the Chiefs, so yeah, but we suck right now. Yeah, but it's like when you always beat a team, you always beat a team. It's like when Shanahan's beating dudes with like Nate or Nick Mullins or whatever the fuck that guy's name was. That really bad backup they had for a while. But like he'd go fucking ballistic against like the Rams and like really random teams. Like, how is he doing that against like the Rams? It's like, yeah, because Kyle Shanahan just knows whatever Sean McVay's about to think about. He just like knows everything about him. He's like, oh, okay, he's about to do that. How'd you know? I made that man. Oh, so it's one of them. It just kind of knows the guy. So there's always that like super edge for McVay or for Shanahan over McVay. They never lose. I think that playoff game was like the only time I've seen them lose to the seen McVay lose or beat old Shanahan. He just seems to just have McVay's number. So much like with the Colts and the Chiefs, it kind of doesn't matter how bad the Colts are. They kind of just beat the Chiefs. I forgot what point I was making talking about the Rams and the 49ers. It's like, that's next week, dude. And then I'm like, yeah, why am I talking about this? And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm making a fucking grand narrative point. Don't lose it. And then I got it back. That was good. Saved it. That was fucking impressive. Oh, man. Karam, you get constantly bullied by Daniel. Any surprise wins? No, they certainly don't. But I don't think any offense. But I don't know if the Chiefs' new offensive philosophy is designed around explosivity, or if it's more so designed around ball control and just moving the ball downfield gradually. I think that's what they're more shifting toward, which is more what Mahomes wants to do. So it could be a sign of, they just aren't able to do that, or they just prefer to do something a little differently, which is also why they seem very comfortable having let Hill go. But again, that, could just be a money thing. I don't know. But yeah, they definitely aren't the same offense anymore. But again, they were kind of shifting toward that last year anyway. They just lack the home run power that Hill gave them on any given play. But then again, I don't know if Hill liked not being able to just go for home runs on any given play. Like the Chiefs don't get, or the Dolphins don't give a shit. They're like, if you can score on one play, that's better for us. Get us the hell off the field with our offense. Whereas I think Andy Reid, the Chiefs and Mahomes wanted to go with ball control. Whereas receiver like Hill isn't very good for ball control. He's great, literally probably the number one in the NFL right now, arguably. But, just depends on what you want him for an offensive piece for. Probably Rake. I mean, if you see a game against, I can't say the Jaguars now because the Jaguars are terrible. Yeah, the funniest game but by the way, I never finished with my Chargers story. Number 2, next to ineptitude, is the Chargers kept that doctor that nearly killed Tyrod Taylor. So clearly they're not that serious about football. So I have no idea why everybody keeps telling me that the Chargers were going to be a team this year. And then week 3 comes along, and now nobody's telling me that the Chargers are going to be a good team this year. They all stopped doing that. I feel like I've won that. I'm like, oh, what did I tell you guys about this team? Now they're like, well, now they're injured. I'm like, yeah, you can't use that against me. I already prefaced that, yeah, they're going to be a bad team and have bad things happen to them because they're the most injury-prone football team I've ever seen. You can't lay the injuries at me when my whole preface about why this team was going to collapse was centered around they got this weird curse. So I feel very vindicated in the way that I predicted how this was going to go for the Chargers, by the way. I told them, injuries were going to sink this team, and everybody was like, no. I'm like, what are you talking about? They make the playoffs, that'd be a miracle at this point. They're down some pretty important pieces. But hey, I think Keenan Allen practiced this week, so that's good, right? But yeah, I would imagine the Jaguars beat them 38-10 in one of the funniest games I've seen in a long time. The Jaguars have won 2 games now in a row by a combined score of 62-10. As we all predicted, the Jaguars would have been outscoring opponents in their last 2 games by 62-10. Having won that game against the Colts 24-0, this game 38-10, so you combine the points and you get 62, I believe. My math could be a little bad. I did it on my fingers really fast. Yeah, and if it wasn't for a literal miracle walk-off home run, they'd be 3-0 right now, the Jaguars. But again, the fucking Commanders are a weird team. They look like they might be a comeback team against everybody but Philly, because Philly's like probably going to win the NFC. But I mean, I don't know what's stopping Philadelphia this year. And is anybody beating them? They don't even try for like I feel like the Eagles just don't try for a majority of the game. And then the second you look like you're going to do something, they just amp it up to 13 and just beat the dog shit out of it. It's like this weird thing I've been watching them do, where they can like do whatever they want in the game. They can like they're completely in control of the game. It feels like at all times. It's very I don't know what they're doing, but it's working out very, very well right now for them. Vikings are usually pretty solid. They'll be a solid team. They're just kind of shitty in prime time. I mean, they fucking destroyed the Vikings. I mean, and the Vikings have a super talented roster. Calcium tests? Well, good thing I eat raw chunks of calcium like a fucking man. And the Lions are all right. They're not like the worst team ever. They're all right. Lions came back on them too, which was crazy. Oh, they played the Lions and the Vikings. Those aren't the worst teams, but they're not exactly good teams, you know? Vikings will probably be somewhat above 500. The Lions will be somewhere around there, you know? Not the Lions have a good offense, bad defense. That's kind of how you can look at that. So it's like, all right, but you know, but they also gave up 35 points to the Lions. It's like, oh, whoa, that's a little troubling. Yeah, I wasn't either, Amir. But yeah, that was a fucking beating. And it's like, and when you see a team play a bad team, there are things you can take away from that and actually deduce how they're playing. People use the AFC East against the Patriots for literally fucking a decade and a half. But you'd have to quickly remind them, like, well, how did they play against, like, in the playoffs? Well, they won a lot in the playoffs, so you know that the easy schedule was kind of irrelevant then, right? No, the easy schedule helped them. How? They were winning against good teams and in the playoffs. That's literally like the majority of what they... It's like people just like lack that common like thought ability. It's like, oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I get that the division not being the best helped them win some games, maybe gave them the home field, but you still got to win in the playoffs. Against, like, you know, the best teams in the NFL. That comes back for the Eagles. Cowboys will lose. Yeah. I don't know. Dak doesn't need to rush back, but it sounds like he's going to rush himself back. And I mean, there's a brewing quarterback controversy. Are the Cowboys... Never mind. I was going to ask if the Cowboys were racist for wanting to replace Dak with a ginger. But I'm not going to betray my own people that way. My fellow gingers go through too much. You guys see how much I look like Cooper Rush if I was to shave my beard? Isn't that crazy? And cut my hair short like him? We look almost identical. It's kind of funny. If I filled my face out with muscle, just cut the beard and cut the hair a little bit. Only reason I bring that up is because we're at the same college, and he beat Oklahoma State, I believe. Don't remember if that was him or a backup or somebody else, but pretty sure it was Cooper Rush. So he's a legend in my book, and for our college's sake, it was crazy. We actually beat Oklahoma State in like the last 6 or 7 years. It's pretty fucking crazy. Very, very clear memory. And for me, I was like, oh, fuck, we cheated and we won. If you want to see the fucking weirdest ending of a college football game, go watch Oklahoma State CMU ending, and you'll be like, "Whoa, why? What happened? How did CMU cheat and win this?" I was gonna say, isn't Cooper like 4-0 for starting for the Cowboys? It's weird that the Cowboys decide to run. No, it's not, because Cooper can't throw as well as Dak. No, it's not weird. You got Dak has a good like. Dak throws the ball really well. Cooper Rush does not throw the ball as well as Dak, so of course you'd run more. Smarter. You have Tony Pollard and you have Zeke back there. You might as well run with them. Like, I expect the Patriots to run the ball like 60 times versus the Packers this week. Like, I expect Stevenson and Harris to probably split around 30 carries a pop. Like, that would surprise me none. I feel like we're barely going to throw the fucking ball the next couple weeks. Fuck that. Why bother? See if we can get by with like a 4-week absence of Mac with like 2-2. If we can pull off 2-2, because we do have kind of a trash schedule coming up. I think we play the Jets pretty soon. Yeah, the Patriots beat the shit out of that guy. We almost upset them dudes. Telling you, we expose something to the whole league about Dak. We usually do. We're like, the Patriots are the team that usually expose how to beat a team, and then other teams finish off the job. Like, we first showed you that you can beat the Chiefs, and then the Colts went ours. No, that was the Lions actually that did that. Remember that shit? The Lions like nearly upset the Chiefs that one year. It was like the closest game they'd played in, and then they went and played the Colts the next week, and the Colts beat them, running the like same game plan as the Lions, just a little bit better executed. Like, damn, Detroit, you almost had it. That was a very funny year for me, watching the Lions almost beat the Chiefs. It was like a fever dream. It was like, are the Lions really going to beat this team? Yeah, if you remember, it was like the first year of Patricia, and like Lions fans were like, "Oh, this is going to be a guy." Not really knowing what was to come with Matt Patricia would be nothing but pleasant memories for Lions fans. From what I can tell, Lions fans really liked Matt Patricia. They were sad to see the way it went, you know. Which I don't blame them. That was sad, you know. Matt Patricia was a good guy. Heavy guy, but a good guy. You know, he took a 9-win team and ran it into the fucking dirt. But hey, you know. Yeah, basically, yeah, the Chiefs got lucky and the refs seem to have gotten involved. Yeah, the Lions probably would have won that game during the Campbell era because, again, I feel like the refs are going to be a lot better for the Lions going forward. But, yeah, that was a fucking fishy game. Then the Colts beat them the next week. It was pretty crazy. Crazy. What else we got from last week that was pretty good? Still early enough in the season where nothing seems like very dire. The Raiders are in a dire spot. If they go 0-4, they could probably just shut the season down, see what they can trade away, and probably find a new quarterback because Derek Carr is clearly not it. I don't know how you give him more weapons and he gets worse. Yeah, he's learning a new offense, but it's like, dude, a rookie quarterback learned this in fucking 2 weeks. What are you doing? Like, you guys got to remember, Mac learned this offense last year so fucking quickly that, like, he was teaching Cam Newton stuff about the offense in training camp. No, it kind of is Derek Carr's fault. I mean, he is the quarterback. He should probably know this offense pretty well by now. And he seems lost in the plays that he's running. It's like, dude, all right, I get it, but, like, you know, Mac did learn this in fucking like 2 weeks and like completely understand it to where he could teach concepts to other players on the team. So you have to understand that, like, yeah, sure, you don't want to blame Carr, but it's like, well, why don't they have the playbook down yet? It's not that bad of a playbook. Trust me, it's not. I've watched it succeed for many years. And they have the pieces that would literally make the offense work in a great way down there. So I'm not really certain as to why it's not clicking in there down there. Yeah, maybe they take a little longer in Las Vegas. Maybe they, you know. But again, they've shown no real like lateral progress. It looks like the same team week in, week out. It's like, oh, that's not good. Even with the Patriots prior to Mac's injury, it was like bad first game, halfway decent second game that they managed to win. And then though we probably still would have lost, we played a really fucking good game versus the Ravens offensively. We had, like 4 bad plays, including the fumble. Outside of that, we've been pretty goddamn solid. Yeah, Carr. It's just I don't know. I don't think you should really blame McDaniels this time around. I don't know why his team hasn't picked up the offense yet. I get it's hard. Again, I do. Trust me. I've watched. Trust me. I've watched so much of the Josh McDaniels offense. There's just some troubling aspects about him where I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't like ego-filled head coaches that aren't able to adapt their game or realize that their game isn't flawless, and it could go with adaptation to adapt into the new game. Like Josh McDaniels gives me the feeling that he fully believes that his game plan is so perfect and his offense is so perfect that it's almost an insult to ask him to add things to it to make it more revolutionized to like the game today. That's the kind of feeling I get from McDaniels. But again, it's like, well, it's a good offense, but it's kind of getting old. You know what I mean? It's getting to be a staler, older offense. And like Brady's running like a modified West Coast down there. The Patriots are running the West Coast Shanahan offense. Like this is their... I don't know. I think McDaniels didn't want to accept the fact that and we've seen this again with like a number of head coaches when the league passes them by because they're just kind of like... The league just passed, like, you know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds like a weird statement to say the league passed him by, but like, think of coaches that like were once good and then rapidly fell apart. It's like, well, why the hell did he fall apart so quickly? Like, think about like Mike Zimmer is a good example. He's always been a very consistently solid head coach, right? Like until like 2-3 years ago, literally one of the better coaches you could have in football. Great defensive coordinator, great as a head coach for the Vikings. Then just like real suddenly just couldn't do it. And you're like, well, what the fuck happened? Rex Ryan's another guy where I think the game passed him by during his era. Again, they're relics of an era that has passed. One of the surprising things about Bill that people don't really realize, I think, about Bill Belichick is he adapts to the changes of the game so well. That's why he's able to coach so well, have sustained success so well, like success to have dynasties. Because again, he doesn't play or coach the same way he would have in the 90s or in the 80s or in the 70s, I believe is when he started. He's got a whole new guy, whereas McDaniels is probably philosophy-wise nearly the exact same guy as when he started coaching. And that's a problem. I think all great coaches should be very, very innovative and embrace change. I think the only ones who don't are the ones who kind of like you can see them fail out as a coach. Nope, I don't change for nothing. Yeah, Bill O'Brien's another good example of a guy that... Bill O'Brien was probably my first example. I'm like, what happened to that guy? And then you literally find out, oh, the game literally passed him by. The game just evolved and he fucking didn't. He stayed in the very, very specific limited coaching ideas and it fucking cost him. No, that's Brian O'Billick. Remember the Ravens head coach that won that Super Bowl? Like in like 2000, or like 99 or 2000. Maybe 2001 or 2. It's like the year between the Patriots Super Bowls. I think the Ravens won it. With like Shannon Sharp and that really good defense. I think it was Brian Billick. He's like the like poster person for like the game passed him by and he just couldn't adapt. Might have been 2000 when they won it, the one I'm thinking of. But yeah, you wouldn't think it'd be that. What the hell is this? I don't know, though. It's like it's thinning out. Oh, people still coming in. That's cool. What else we got? I feel like we talked about the Miami and the Bills game. We haven't really talked about that too much, or really like at any kind of like in-depth level. Guess there's really not much to say, right? It was. I think the more surprising thing is the fact that the neither team scored very much, right? Like with all the injuries to their defenses and you know both teams kind of being like, you know, dealing with certain things on that side of the ball, you would think that this would have been more of a shootout, but what we got was more of a defensive struggle for the most part. Neither team able to hit higher than 21 points. The Dolphins winning 21-19 in the kind of a surprise, kind of low-scoring affair. I think something to watch from this game going forward, though, is if the Dolphins get in trouble for, or like somebody gets in trouble for what happened with Tua. But, you know, we'll see if he was actually concussed or not. Yeah, I read that stat that they had the ball for like 40 minutes of the game and lost it. It's like, ooh, that's a bad stat if you're a Bills fan. You don't want to really have that stat running around in the wild. Like, hey, Buffalo, how'd you have the ball for most of the game and lose? What's up, Max? How's it going, man? Yeah, that's not exactly idea, I would say. Just kind of want to bury that lead and be like, we got cheated. I'm sure that's what Bills fans are saying, though, because they're a very blamey franchise. One of the things I've noticed about in my brief interactions with Bills fans is they tend to not be able to lose things very effectively. Have you ever interacted with a Bills fan and noticed this trait about them? By the way, thank you for all the likes, everybody. I appreciate it. We're doing really good on those tonight. I appreciate it. Very kind, very cool. The Bills only lose games for X reason or Y reason. There's never a Z. Z, me, never the reason for the for agony. I do little rhymes. But I don't know. The Bills will blame everything down to the weather, referees, cheating. They'll just come up with shit. But like, you know what's the weirdest thing about the Bills also? Like, their coaching staff is very blamey when they lose. They don't ever take responsibility for the losses. But what they'll do, like what McDermott will do though when he wins, he's like the most humble, nice head coach to his opponents. Has anyone else ever noticed this shit? Like, if he wins, he's like a very cool, calm, collected guy about everything, nothing but praise to his opponents and very, very positive talk. And like, you'd be like, oh, okay, this guy's a pretty nice guy. And then you see him fucking lose a game and he's fucking out there snarling at the refs and the reporters and fucking screaming at them about how it's not a fair game. And it's just like, whoa, what the fuck? What a poor sport. And then you see him win the game and it's like, fucking, what? I'd rather get yelled at by somebody winning, not because they're fucking pissy that we won, that they weren't able to win. Ugh. This might be bold, but if Garrett and Clowney are both out for Atlanta, I might pick Atlanta. Our secondary cannot create any chemistry at all. We have late round picks. Ooh, yeah, that could be a problem. I don't know. Atlanta stinks, dude. I think you're overthinking the Atlanta game. I understand the caution and optimism. Especially since it looks like Garrett's going to be out, you know, for at least this game. I don't know about going forward. But if you're Clowney, you probably should tell the team, hey, if you guys can unrule me out, I just got like a thigh bruise going on like Kawhi Leonard. You can probably play me. I thought, are you sure, Clowney? Yeah, after some shit that happened this week, I think I should probably play. That way old dipshit don't run his raggedy body out there. It's like, yeah, Clowney, how bad's your injury? Oh, like a 4 out of 10. I thought I'd get the week off. Yeah. Well, Miles was in a car that flipped around a few hundred times, it looked like. Are you willing to play? I can't do that, coach. Yeah, tomorrow's news stream is going to be fucking really fun. This has been a crazy week for news. That's probably the biggest story in a while is... I thought for sure he was dead when I first read Miles Garrett flips his Porsche multiple times. I went, oh well, so Miles Garrett's probably dead. That really fucking sucks. This is gonna be a dark season. And then I was able to further read on a break that he survived, and I was like, oh, thank God, he's probably crippled though. And then I started seeing reports that he didn't suffer any injuries, and I was like, and then it was non-life threatening, and I was like, what the fuck? And then he comes out the hospital today with some cuts and a couple bruises, and he feels pretty sore. That's a major relief, right? Like the fact that there was no major injury. I don't think his passenger in the car got very injured either. I'm sure that most of the damage was absorbed by Myles Garrett's big ass body. Fucking refrigerator body ass motherfucker. You know, the doctor was like, said some fucking sly shit like, well, it's a good thing you're all big and muscly and work out all the time. Could have went a lot worse. Feel bad for the road. Yeah, you're a fucking comedian, doc. Yeah, no, it sounded terrifying. Even if you're not a Browns fan, you don't want to hear about football players dying, especially guys like Garrett, who seem like, outside of smacking his helmet up on near somebody, he seems like a pretty upstanding dude, too, so I think he's really good for the community, so that would have been a real loss. Yeah, I think the way that they sit is they sit underneath, right? You go underneath it a bit. So you can kind of like, I know a lot of them cars, like those like tiny cars that like big guys can drive, they're like built in a way that those big dudes can sit in them very comfortably, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure anyway. You always see big ass dudes driving them Porsches. So you'd have to imagine that there's got to be some kind of like fucking balloon way to sit underneath that, where it just goes underneath that, like you sit your legs underneath the engine or some shit. I don't know. Is that the end of this stream? Are people starting to peel off naturally? I mean, we have kind of gone through most of what was relevant of last week. We're kind of just Rams and Cardinals. That was a boring game. The Rams won. It's like, you know what I mean? Like we're kind of just spinning tires. What was the big age? Someone else got hurt. I think Rashawn Slater got hurt this week or last week, but he's out for the season. I feel like somebody else of significance got hurt this last weekend. But I can't recall. Hold on. Hopefully. Yeah. I don't know. I think that might be good then. This video will just get views on the playback. That's always a good way to get them. Things to think about heading into week 4, I would say. When you think about the Ravens and the Bills, I would advise you to keep in mind the health of the Bills and how the Ravens have kind of looked against really good secondaries this year. They've been pretty solid. So just keep that in mind. What else we got this week? Chiefs and Bucks again. I would watch the Bucks receiver health. If they're gonna have, I know they have Evans back from suspension, but I think Godwin could be back from injury as well. I know he's been activated off lists, so he could be like an any game type situation, unless they threw him back on like the 3-week IR thing. But I don't think they did. Just keep your eye on reports and health stuff, and like, I don't know. It seems like this stream is dead. There's 3 people here, it says, and no one's talking anymore. Unless I'm imagining it. You have Tampa winning for now, but not a... Yeah, Saturday is going to be a big review day, I would say, with the picks. For at least like 3 or 4 teams, because there's like 3 or 4 games where I'm not 100% sure on. Mainly because I just don't know because we just don't find out injury stuff till like Saturday night for a lot of teams. So, or at least like Saturday afternoon. Which is why we always do a Saturday afternoon stream where we preview week 4 of the NFL. We go over all the games. Of course, we have our picks video that's already out, yada, yada. A lot of this isn't for you guys listening. Most of you guys here are like the hardcore people that already know it, probably already watched it. But I'm more along the lines of, people listening in the future. All 10 people who will listen to this. Excuse me. I don't know. Actually, I get pretty good, like, solid numbers on VOD watches. Like, I'll get like 100 extra views on VOD, so that's not actually too bad. Especially on content like this. This is actually pretty well-watched content for played back live streams. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't trust any of those. But then again, I don't know. Again, when it comes to me, I wouldn't ever take my word on Brady stuff because I seem to not be able to, you know what I mean? Just kind of call what Brady's about to be doing. That seems to be a talent I'm not in possession of. Almost said that funny. I almost said in possession of. And then I would have been able to have been mocked for the rest of my being on YouTube. Like, hey, yo, this guy misspoke once. Fuck him. I've been like, please. Hey, we're up at a pretty good stream. We have 16 likes. Appreciate that. Hey, yo, this guy's eating beans. What up, Kenny? Stay alive for like another 5 or so minutes. Kind of ended on an even number. What's up, Alex? Welcome back. Again, if it starts picking back up, we'll stay live a little longer. But, it's just kind of starting to kind of come to a death. It's almost midnight. I got a few things I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How you doing? I got some stuff I think I want to do tonight. Still, I might do some homework for like an hour once I get off the stream. Just get a bunch of shit done. That's what I've been doing since like 2-3 o'clock. I've been doing homework, so I decided I'd stop for a while and stream. Because I got the majority of it done. I just got to write like 8 quick responses to stuff. And that won't take very long. This is where I'm really good. So I want to leave open most of tomorrow to what I got to accomplish or get done. But how you doing, Kenny? Damn, it filled back up in here pretty quick. Damn, it went from 2 or 3 people in here back up to 9. That's pretty crazy. You're still doing good, going okay, good in school? Yep. Just I think the number one thing for advice is to just stay up on your work. Don't fall behind like my dumbass did. Because I got to spend another day on Thursday fucking going hard to get caught back up and be done with everything. But then I'm good. And then I have all my and then I have everything caught back up. But I had a legitimate issue. I had some problems with technology and yada yada yada. What we got? I think we basically touched on everything minorly important. And majorly, we kind of talked about everything worth talking. Now we're just chit-chatting at this point. If anyone has any specifics they want to bring up, they can. Yeah, you'll have more time in the exactly. Uh-oh. Ugh. I got this. That was easy. Staples. That was easy. The cool button commercial. I used to want one of them buttons really bad because I thought it would be funny. And then I seen one of them in real life and went, oh, that's the greatest thing ever. And I pressed the button and nothing happened. I was devastated. I don't think you guys understand what that was like. It's brutal. Not really. Packers game last week. It was pretty good, I guess. I don't know. How am I supposed to feel about it? Oh shit, I'm at 7,666 subscribers right now. That's straight up the devil's number, bro. Satan has a hold of this channel. 17 likes. That's pretty good though. Kenny's like, yep, this is the Devil's channel. We just never see Kenny again. But yeah, it was a good win for the Packers. I don't know. They beat Brady finally, got over that hump for him. I'm a little concerned still about the Packers offense, but then again, I guess they might just be in that state right now of just doing what you got to do to win. Yeah, Tigers playing a fun baseball. I see they won like 4 or 5 in a row now. Pretty good. Pretty good. Love to see it. I was going to watch the game tonight, but then I fucking was busy doing all this crap. But I'm almost done, so that's good. All right, though. Yeah, I'm sorry this is boring, guys. I'm like fresh out of content. I feel like we squeezed all the juice for the stream. I don't really have. We kind of talked about it just nearly every topic, but Oh, you get to be home. That's pretty nice. I bet you're excited. A home game. That's always good. If there's anything specific anyone wants to discuss or anything, just go ahead and bring it up. Or I might start to go ahead and start to wrap this bad boy up tonight. It's getting pretty late where I'm at on my side of the globe, which is the eastern hemisphere of the United States. Not I get like the northern midwestern part, I guess. I guess we're like the tall state. We got that part that hits up into Canada pretty good. The majority of the state. Feels like years ago since you've been home. Well, it probably has been. Maybe you guys will finally get a big W. Sure, that would be pretty exciting. We will be live again tomorrow evening for the weekly news show that we do, where we kind of focus more so on the news rather than the games that were played. Well, there's usually a lot to go over, quite a bit more than you would think. I guess not so much early in the regular season. It's kind of like the news kind of starts off on like this weird slow slope, and then it goes like this. It goes a lot, and then the season starts and it kind of drops all the way down, and then it goes like this. Like way up as soon as the season hits about week 5 or 6, because teams just start making moves. Guys get benched. Guys are hurting. IR trips end. IR trips begin. It's a whole bunch of craziness that starts happening about next week or the week after. So, because a lot of guys, 4-week IR stints will be up after this week, so that'll be an exciting time. A lot of 3-week IR stints are up this week as well too. It's always good. There's another team that hasn't won this season. Oh, hopefully you guys are the better defeated team. Or the better winless team, I guess, is a better way to say that word. Better phrasing. It's non-problematic, and I'm trying to be PC Rob now. So, you can't act like an ignorant retard in my chat anymore. That'd be a wild twist in the way I'm talking. Listen, I'm trying to be PC now. Don't be fucking retarded in here. UMAC has 2 team with a win. Eesh. Sounds like you're playing a bad football team. Football league or whatever. All right, though, everybody. I guess if we have nothing really too much else to talk about, I'm gonna wrap her up. I got a few things I still got to do. Got to type up quite a bit, and yeah. There's nothing, then I'm gonna bang the gavel and go ahead and call this a stream tonight. All right, well, if in my wrap up you have something you want to talk about, I'll pause the wrap up and you can bring it up. But more than likely, we'll have a more in-depth talk about whatever kind of weird news stuff you want to talk about tomorrow. Because it is just about midnight here, so it's getting pretty late. I appreciate everyone tuning in. I appreciate all the likes and everything like that. It was a fun stream. Yeah, it was a good stream. Good night, Kenny. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to everyone who had a chat. Thank you to everyone who might have just been chilling, lurking. I appreciate you too. Again, fun stream. Good little stream tonight. Kind of a quick little pop in and see how everybody's doing. Kind of make up for the fact that I didn't go live yesterday. Usually Tuesdays I like to take off to myself and do a bunch of homework and get shit done. But that's what I've done most of the day. But decided I'd pop in here. So take a little break. I had good streaming energy coming into this one, so I feel like I've had a good day. Oh shit, almost just tugged that out the wall. All right though. We all set? I appreciate y'all. Thank you for a fun stream. If you're just tuning in, just rewind the stream to the beginning and then you can just kind of listen back from the beginning and get all the stuff about the football stuff. So that's always good, right? All right. Have a good one, guys. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you so much. Go Lions, go Tigers, and of course, as always, go Patriots. I'll see you when I see you next. Hopefully it's tomorrow night, maybe Thursday night for the Bengals and Dolphins. Who knows? But I'll see you next time I see you. Peace out, and